Yo, what's up guys? D-Cell here, and today I want to do a quick guide video about Chloe's info search. And I just want to do like a brain dead kind of strategy that doesn't involve any awakened units, especially Lee Jiso, which of course is the unit that everybody's going to say to use. If you have her, obviously it's going to make this a much easier time because she's going to remove that HP regeneration from the boss. However, I want to focus on a strategy that's pretty much brain dead that will allow you to brute force your way through Chloe's info. Now, admittedly, this is not going to 3-star it. In fact, it's probably going to take you until like the last 30 seconds to really clear it, but it will give you a way to get that much needed info every time this challenge comes up. So let's dive right into it. All right, and let's take a moment and look at Chloe's info search so we can see what we're up against. Now, what you got to get around here is really this totem, because this totem provides defense and it provides HP recovery for the boss, and it makes it really hard to get through the stage, even if your characters aren't dying. Then you also have the annoying ads, especially the flying ads, and you have the weaken enemy attack guy here that you really need to get out of the way. And of course, you still have to kill the tower boss. All right, so let's go ahead and look at the characters that I brought for this strategy, and I will give some alternatives as well. As you can see, I'm not using any awakened units, and this team is strong enough to literally brute force your way through it. Now, granted, you're not going to be able to stack the operation because you're not going to be able to 3-star it, but you will be able to get that prized info. So starting off with Shifuyu and Estarossa. Now, I think Shifuyu is more important here than Estarossa because you're going to have that, defense debuff from her. So you're really going to want her in the team, but you could definitely use Lee Yumi here. You could definitely use Awakened Hilda, obviously, if you have her. You could replace any one of these units if you don't have them with the other. You just need 2 frontliner units to press the attack. Then after that, you're going to need 2 units to deal with the air units. So for this, I have Kyle Wong and Rosaria. If you don't have Kyle Wong or Rosaria, you can use units like Rivet. You can use units like Guyun if you have them. So you could replace them here with those, but I'm using Kyle Wong and Rosaria because Rosaria has a good amount of firepower with her and she's really easy to build. Then after that, you're going to want 2 support units that are going to give your team sustain because you really don't want your teammates to die. So I'm going with Yang Harim and Claudia Nelson. If you don't have Yang Harim, you could always use Claudia Nelson and Evelyn Keller together. And honestly, at this point, I should probably be using Yang Harim and Evelyn Keller, but it doesn't really matter. You're still going to get the clear either way. So it is what it is. Then after that, I have Xiaolin and Sylvia. And the reason here is Xiaolin is a very easy person to build. She's going to do instant crit damage and she's going to provide a lot of firepower. If you don't have Xiaolin, you can use somebody like Kim Sobin, for example. Again, you could always put Rivet in her place. Same with Sylvia. These are interchangeable. Now, I do find that using Sylvia over Kim Sobin in this particular instance just works more consistently. So this is why I have Sylvia in there. I don't know if it's because she also attacks the air or if it's because of the hit stuns, but this definitely seems to be more consistent than when I put Kim Sobin in there. And before I show the strategy in action, let me go ahead and just show you the gear so you know I don't have like crazy good gear. On Claudia Nelson, I just have a cooldown set. Really important that you have a cooldown set on your support units. So any cooldown gear that you can find is going to work. For Xiaolin, I do have her exclusive equipment, and I do think this is really good because it's going to give her attack speed. And even though it's a broken set, it's fine. Really what you want is some attack speed on her, and then you want to get her attack as high as like as close to 9,000 as possible. So you can see I have a 2-piece attack set and then a broken set here. So nothing crazy. It just gets the job done. Now, the funny thing about this is Estarossa has the gear that I use right now for Shifuyu for PvP. I use a full defense set. I use this set for Shifuyu. But so this would be better off having a HP set for her, obviously, for the higher HP pool and her barriers. But this just goes to show you don't need anything crazy for this to work. And for Rosaria, we can see that she has just a generic attack set. You want to get her as close to 9k attack as possible, just like Xiaolin, because she's really here to do nuke damage, and you want her to do as much damage as possible. So if you can get all of her skills maxed out, that would be good as well. Now, next up on the list is Kyle Wong. This is probably the character I have built the best. He is on an attack speed set with an exclusive equipment with attack speed. So this was a really good role for me. But yeah, even if you don't have him on an attack set, you could use his exclusive equipment and level it up high enough, and you would get more attack speed for that than you would getting for the bonus, right, for PvE. So as you can see here at +7, it's a 25%, and for the 4-piece it's only at 20%. So technically I could be using a broken set here and just be doing just fine. And then for my Shifuyu, as again, she's on a broken set. I don't have good gear for her yet. She's just got like a defense. I would rather have her on attack speed for PvE, and I usually would want her like on an HP defense, or maybe even a full defense for PvP, because that just seems to work better for me in my team comps. But yeah, for PvE, I would really like to have her on an attack set. I just don't have the gear for it. Then for Young Harem, I have just a full cooldown set. Again, it doesn't matter what you put on here. Just make sure it has cooldown, because you want her to provide survivability. And the same with Sylvia. I just have her on a cooldown set so she can provide more hits, or for more stuns, I mean, and she's going to provide more air damage and just damage overall. So that's what she's there for. Okay, and diving back into the operation, let me explain one more crucial thing about this. Is there is a little bit of manual play involved. You do need to kind of manually place your unit if you want 100% success rate. Now, this does have about a 70% auto success rate, so you could technically put it on auto and it does work about 70% of the time. But if you want to guarantee that it gets the clear, then you need to set your units down in this proper order. So what you want to do is set down Nanahara, Shifuyu, and Estarossa immediately as far away from the ship as possible. You want them to rush the boss and get close to the boss. Immediately after getting Estarossa and Shifuyu on the shield, you want to deploy Young Harem a little closer to your ship. This is going to provide survivability and sustainability for your frontline attackers. After that, you want to deploy Kyle Wong, and after Kyle Wong, you want to deploy Rosaria. Kyle Wong and Rosaria are there to take care of the air threats and get those debuffs off your team and get those just annoying things out of the way so you can focus on bursting down the boss. After that, you want to deploy Claudia. That's going to be the last piece of survivability that you really need, and that's going to prevent any of your characters from dying, so you don't have to waste time redeploying anything like that. They're going to stay on the field killing the boss. Then after that, it largely doesn't matter. You can hit auto, and I find that I've always won the fight. So I usually put Xiaolin down first because she comes out dealing tons of damage. She's going to do way more damage than Sylvia, but either way, I see it works pretty much the same, Sylvia or Xiaolin. At that point, it really doesn't matter. So let's see it in action so you can see what I'm talking about. Now, I barely won that one because I put it on auto on the last half and I just kind of let it do its thing. I could have gotten better results at manually it because what happens sometimes is the sustain is not enough. One of your characters dies and they get trapped without being redeployed. If I was using manual mode, I could have like manually redeployed somebody and then put Xiaolin back in the front line to keep that sustained DPS going on. So if you were paying attention, that's really what was going on in that fight. But yes, Chloe's info search is really hard, but you can brute force your way through it without having to rely on Awakened Liege's So's HP regeneration debuff. I mean, it is massive and it helps out a lot if you do have her because it's like a 90% reduction to HP regeneration. So it's really helpful. And you don't even have to really level her up because honestly, at her base level passive, if you just keep her in the back and just on the field deployed, it's going to have that regeneration debuff automatically applied, right? So, but yeah, if you don't have them, you can definitely brute force your way through it. I hope this helps somebody. I hope this gives you some ideas on how to go ahead and clear her info search and get that valuable info. But hey guys, that's going to be it for today's video. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you found it helpful. If you did, consider liking and subscribing to the channel for more videos like this in the future. And with that, guys, I'm going to get out of here. Have a great day, and I'll see you in the next one.